Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to our tutorials for the JustFlight Avro RJ. Today we're going to fly the RJ100 from its home base in Zurich over to Hamburg, which is about 1 hour and 15 minutes flight time. More than sufficient to explain to you all the particulars of operating the Avro RJ in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, we are going to start this tutorial with the electrical power-up and the safety inspection, and we will also go over some of the nice features found in the flight deck and the electronic flight bag. So join me in the cockpit as we're about to start setting up our RJs. Let's take a seat on the captain's seat over here. Before we start the procedure, let's quickly move into the electronic flight bag and onto the aircraft screen, and over here we make sure that our chocks are set. And we are also going to connect the ground power unit. Note that when you click the button it first turns amber because it starts up, as you can maybe hear in the background. And now that it is available it actually turns green. Okay, so with our external power unit connected, let's go ahead and start our safety inspection. Number one, we ensure that the aircraft is safe to operate. That means that when we turn electrical power on, we don't pose any danger to anybody. For that, we ensure that the weather radar is switched off. We ensure that the transponder is switched to standby, the air brake is in, and the flaps are in the up position. When all of those are ensured, we can go to the overhead panel to the top right and turn on the navigation light. This way, as soon as power is applied, the aircraft is going to illuminate the nav lights, indicating to everyone outside that power is indeed applied. Now that the nav lights are on, we can move to the electrical panel, which we can find right over here, and turn on both batteries. With the batteries on, rotate the voltage amperage selected to the battery position and verify that we have at least 23 volts in both systems. Note that battery voltage should only be checked with the batteries actually turned on, because the real voltage can only be measured when the system is under load. From there, we can move downwards and verify that our park and brake is set. And then we can move to the overhead panel to the avionics section with it, which is located on the complete top left. And over here we switch on the yaw damper masters, the autopilot masters, the avionics masters, and then moving down we also turn on the lift spoilers at this position. Now we can also move further to the left, where we are going to turn the anti-skid on at this point in time as well. Alright, now we are going to move a little bit further down to the electrical panel, and over here we ensure that the generator switches for the engines are in the off reset position, and the APU generator can already be turned on in preparation for our APU start. Now with that done, there is one more thing we have to do before we can start up the APU, and this is the APU fire test and selecting the correct igniters. So depending on what day it is, on even days we are going to use the loop system A, on odd days loop system B, so make sure that those are set appropriately. Now for us, all that we are going to do over here is the actual APU fire test. So moving a little bit further to the right, over here we have the APU fire test. So we can press that and then observe the APU fire and the loop fault indications down here on the APU panel. Now with that done, we can go ahead and start up the APU. So turn on the left inner fuel pump and then we can set the APU switch to start, and you will see the APU starting up automatically. Do note that at this point we have not yet turned on the external power, because it basically is not needed to start up the APU. However, when the external power is available, you can use it instead of the APU at this point. However, do still carry out the APU fire test, but you don't need to turn on the fuel pump if you don't want to start the APU just yet. Now, today it is a rather cold day. If we look down here, we've just got 11 degrees Celsius outside. For this reason I am using the APU straight away, as it provides us with the ability to turn on the air conditioning. So the APU is now available. You can hear the aircraft systems coming to life in the background. And once the APU power available shows and the APU generator is online, we can also turn the APU on for air conditioning. To do this, we turn the APU air button on, and then we turn packs 1 and pack 2 to on, and this basically starts our air conditioning system. When that is done, there is only 2 more things that we need to do at this point. The first of all is to test our master warning system, and for that you have the master warning controls up here. And the Avro has this lovely little system that allows you to basically switch the master warning system into a ground mode. And in that mode you are not going to get alerts for anything new that comes on over here. However, we want to test that the system works, so we are going to put the switch out of the ground mode and then push it forward. And you can see this tests the entire master warning system, and you also get the master warning and the master caution light to illuminate. When that is tested, return the switch into the middle position, where the red light is not illuminated, as that sets the master warning system into the normal operating mode. We can cancel the master warning and the master caution light, and after this is done, we are going to move over to the right forward panel, because you will find your IRS switches up here. Now, we can turn them directly into the nav position so that the alignment process is started, and once the alignment is completed, the IRSs are going to start operating automatically. Now, as a small little trick, if you don't want to wait for the entire alignment cycle, you can speed things up a little bit by turning them to nav and then back to the align position. And this initiates a rapid alignment, which is not realistic, but something that JustFlight have added to make your life a little bit easier. In those cases, it will only take about 30 seconds for your IRSs to align. Now, this finishes our IRS alignment, and with that, let's complete the electrical power-up procedure. And you can see now our aircraft is fully powered, and we can move on to our electronic flight bag. Now, the electronic flight bag offers a lot of different capabilities, and I want to use this section of the video to show some of them to you. We're going to start on the main page over here. So, just like your typical iPad, the home button brings you over to the main page. First of all, we can show our SimBrief OFP from here. To do that, enter your pilot ID like I've just entered mine down here, and then hit continue, and this automatically imports the flight plan for you. Now, over here you can either reload if you have a new one, or you can log out, which returns you to the previous screen. If you move down to the next screen, you've got your METARs over here, and those show the latest METAR information from your SimBrief flight plan to you, for both our departure as well as our destination airport. Last but not least, if you want to see the full OFP, you can switch to the output screen down here, and over here you have the possibility to view your entire SimBrief flight plan. Now let's return to the main screen and have a look at the next useful function. The map, well, as nice as it is not all that useful for flying in my opinion. The next button, however, the Navigraph chart, certainly is. When you open the screen for the first time, it's going to show you a QR code that you need to use in order to activate your Navigraph account. But once that is done, we are invited to the screen we see over here. Let's start on the airport charts. So up here, we've got the exit menu that brings us back onto the main screen. Search, well, allows you to search an airport, and saved shows you the charts that you have pinned. So let's go to the search field and hit the departure button. As soon as the SimBrief flight plan has been imported, this can be used to pull up your departure airport. Normally, we want at least the taxi charts and the standard instrument departure charts at this point. So we are going to go to the taxi menu, and we are going to scroll down. We want the airport chart, and we can pin that straight away. And then we also want our parking stands. So this is the chart that we are going to look at, and this is the chart we are going to look at. Then we can move on to the standard instrument departure, and over here we can find the SID that we intend to fly, which today is the Degas 3 Whiskey, so let's go ahead and find that down here. And then we can go ahead and pin that chart as well. And if we now move over to the saved panel, you can see that we nicely get a list of all the charts in question that we have just pinned. One more tip of what you can do with your charts is if you return to exit and then go to the en route charts, those not only provide you with, well, en route charts, as we can see over here, but they can also be used in order to show you a live taxi map. If you zoom in all the way on your on your en route chart, you will see that the ground map is going to come up, which in my opinion is the most useful feature of the entire en route charts. Now, from here let's go back to the main menu and let's go into the next screen, which is the aircraft screen. Now over here, once you have imported your SimBrief flight plan, you will be confronted with an import SimBrief OFP layout. And when you hit that, it is automatically going to update your zero fuel weight as well as your total weight to the SimBrief values. However, you still need to, number one, start the refueling procedure, which is now going to initiate a real-time refueling, as we can see on the fuel gauges down here. But it is also, once we leave the fuel menu and go down here into the boarding menu, it also offers you the possibility to do a boarding in either real time, instantly, or 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you prefer. Likewise, you can also do this via GSX if you go up here to the options and you select GSX handling. If you do that and then you hit the boarding menu, you will see it simply tells you waiting for GSX boarding, and that way simply request boarding through the GSX menu, and that's it. Now, for this tutorial I will turn the GSX handling off and we are going to do boarding ourselves, which we can do down here. Now, I'm just going to select instant boarding down here. We can hit the start boarding button, and now boarding is in progress, and once it's completed, you will hear your cabin crew do the boarding complete announcement. What's really nice is JustFlight have added some talking sounds and stuff while the boarding is ongoing and when your passengers are on board, as we can hear very quietly in the background. Now, on this panel you can also open your doors or close your doors and this good kind of stuff. Let's use a small moment to go over the options menu available on the top. So this is the configuration menu, and in here you can see we can fit all kind of things to the aircraft, such as auxiliary fuel tanks or a metric altimeter, which if selected is going to pop up down here. And all good kind of things. Now, in my opinion, the most important one is the synchronize altimeters button and the flip charts, but we will get to those in a few moments. The auto throttle lock is also a very good one, as it means that when this one is turned on, you will no longer be able to move the thrust levers with your joystick. So the auto throttle will always have priority there. Alright, further to the right hand side we've got the maintenance menu, and over here you can trigger a lot of different failures, as you can see, but we are not going to deal with those on today's flight. Last but not least, we've got the pushback menu, which brings up a little nice pushback menu that you can use to push back if you don't use any third-party add-on. Alright, now let's return to the main screen, and one more very nice feature is the notes button. Over here you can either type or draw any kind of notes. So if we go to the draw menu over here, you can see I can draw anything I like, or I can remove that again as I wish. And this is pretty useful, for example, to write down your IFR clearances or your taxi clearances. So, this much about the JustFlight electronic flight bag. Last but not least, the settings menu is rather basic, where you can do things like changing your clock format or changing the screen brightness. Not all that important. Alright, so from here let's move on to another very nice feature, and that is the clipboard that we have at our control column. So on this one, you can not only rotate it or show and hide it, but most importantly, you have your normal checklists on here. So those are the standard checklists used for the aircraft in normal operation. You can also add custom ones to it, but that's going to be outside the scope of this tutorial. Last but not least, you have a second one available right up here, and we can also take that one out. And down here we have a lot of useful information that we can readily access during the flight, such as for example our normal takeoff, or the noise abatement takeoff, the climb profile, and so on. So this provides really useful quick access to anything you might need in flight. Now let's go ahead and put it away again, as we will not need it for this part of the tutorial just yet. Alright, so this confirms or completes our first part of the tutorial series. I hope that you found this one interesting. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments below, and then I'm very much looking forward to see you all again on the next one. In the meantime, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really like what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.